Beloved, remain with me until the final moment of this message, for there is a word of deliverance and restoration waiting for you tonight. Nothing in the spiritual realm is accidental. If these words are reaching your ears right now, it is because heaven has chosen this exact moment to speak into your life. Something powerful is about to shift, a movement that shatters spiritual chains, dismantles dark works, and silences every voice that tried to rise against your destiny. But before we begin deeper, listen closely. I want to invite you into something far greater than this moment alone. Become part of our prophetic family, Psalm 91 warfare, where thousands gather daily under the covering of divine light, standing united in faith and prayer. When you join us, you're not simply subscribing. You are aligning with a spiritual army, walking in unity, confronting darkness, and witnessing breakthroughs day after day. So right now, subscribe, activate your notifications, and declare in the comments, "I stand under the protection of God." Because tonight, as we declare Psalm 27, the Lord will rise as a warrior on your behalf, breaking every unseen chain and removing every shadow attempting to hold your life hostage. Stay with me until the final declaration, because in the last repetition, a decree will be released, a decree that seals your deliverance entirely. Beloved, tonight we step into a battlefield not made of flesh and blood. We enter a realm where unseen powers have whispered against your name, where confusion tried to settle, and where shadows attempted to claim what belongs to God alone. But this night marks a turning point, because when the light of Psalm 27 is released, no curse can remain hidden, no dark work can stand, and no scheme crafted in secret can withstand the fire of the Almighty. The Spirit of God brought you here for a reason. The grip of fear is loosening, the fog of confusion is lifting, and generational chains are breaking in the presence of His Word. The heaviness that lingered around your life is losing its strength. Confusion that once clouded your decisions is fading away. And those ancient chains that followed your family line for years, are snapping under the power of His presence. Prepare your spirit now. This moment is not simply a prayer, it is a divine decree. Declare with me, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" These words are not mere verses. They are weapons. They are fire in the unseen realm. Every dark influence that approached your path hears this declaration and begins to tremble. Heaven responds when truth is spoken. In this first release of Psalm 27, the Lord dismantles the spirit of intimidation, that silent force that tried to weaken your voice and limit your confidence. No longer will you live in fear of opinions, threats, envy, or hidden attacks. When the Lord becomes your light, every shadow loses direction. And tonight, that very light, the same light that guided David through valleys of danger, is descending upon you. It is covering you, surrounding you, and scattering every enemy that whispered your name in secret places. Listen carefully. The Spirit of the Lord is saying, "Do not fear their words. Do not fear their plans. I have seen what was spoken against you, and I am turning every dark intention into fuel for your rising." Beloved, this is the beginning of the first wave, the moment when every hidden work of darkness begins to burn. If you feel warmth, if tears flow, if your heart stirs, understand, this is not emotion. This is release. The spiritual climate around you is shifting. God is rising in His strength, and the murmur of darkness is being silenced by His voice. Repeat the verse again, slowly and with certainty. "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" Now breathe in deeply. This breath is not ordinary. It is deliverance entering your body, peace replacing panic, faith replacing fear. Beloved, when spiritual attacks arise, they almost always begin with fear. But fear has no throne, no crown, no authority. It cannot dwell where the presence of God resides, and you are his dwelling place. Tonight, your inner walls are being covered in light. Declare with me, Lord, fill every corner of my life with your light. Let your presence drive out every shadow. Let every curse lose its power in the fire of your name. Beloved, this is what happens when you pray with understanding. The battle is no longer about surviving. It becomes about dominion. You are shifting from defense to authority. Psalm 27 is not merely a shield you hide behind. It is the sword you now carry. It slices through deception. It exposes manipulation. And it declares to every structure of darkness, this life belongs to the Lord. If you've ever sensed eyes watching you, cycles repeating, or invisible pressure draining your strength, understand this. That influence breaks here. The dark works that were tracking your steps and speaking your name in secret have lost their covering. The Lord has exposed them, and anything exposed loses strength immediately. The Spirit of God says, I am dismantling what was crafted in secrecy. Every name spoken in darkness will be washed by my light. Every altar raised against you will be consumed by flame. And every spirit that followed your steps will bow before my word. Beloved, this very first repetition becomes fire at the gate. A declaration that the territory of your life is no longer accessible to darkness. Your home, your mind, your peace, all of it belongs to God and is now sealed by his word. Say this decree aloud. I belong to the Lord. My life is covered by his covenant. No curse can touch me. Beloved, when you speak this, you are not simply defending yourself. You are drawing a spiritual boundary that hell cannot cross. The enemy recognizes your authority, but he fears your voice. Every time you declare the word of God, his grip weakens and his influence fades. Now lift your heart in gratitude. While you pray here, heaven works there. Angels are surrounding your home, tearing down invisible barriers, cutting unseen ropes and silencing whispers you never heard but felt. This is deliverance in motion, not imagination, but spiritual reality unfolding around you. This first repetition of Psalm 27 has pushed open the gates of your freedom. Beloved, prepare yourself. The next repetition will go deeper. It will reach the roots of every dark influence and consume every hidden altar that carried your name. If this prayer is blessing you, type Amen and share it with someone you love. Your act of faith may become the key that unlocks their breakthrough. Beloved, the first repetition broke the gate. Now the fire of the Lord begins entering every unseen space where darkness tried to hide. Beloved, the first repetition has opened the gates, but now the fire of the Lord begins to move inward, consuming what once hid in the shadows. You have declared that the Lord is your light. Now that light exposes every hidden work, every unseen snare, and every whispered curse that tried to operate in silence. Nothing can remain concealed where the light of God shines. Every trap, every silent attack, every dark intention formed against you is being revealed and dissolved. The Spirit of God says, do not fear what you cannot see, for I see it. Do not fight what you do not understand, for I have already defeated it. Beloved, this is where spiritual battles are truly won, not by striving nor by shouting, but by surrendering. When you release your fear, his strength takes over. The same fire that surrounded Elijah and protected Elisha is surrounding you now. Let us begin the second repetition of Psalm 27. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war rise against me, in this will I be confident. Beloved, say it with certainty, because faith speaks louder than fear. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Beloved, declare this with the strength of someone who knows heaven is fighting on their behalf. That army may not be soldiers. It may be anxiety, jealousy, spiritual pressure, or dark influences attempting to rise against you. but none of them hold power over a life protected by God. Say it again with conviction. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Because the Lord does not count the number of enemies. He commands the victory. Every circle of darkness, every altar where your name was spoken, every voice raised against your destiny trembles under the authority of this word. The Spirit of God says, their gatherings are broken, their altars are burning, their intentions return empty, their curses return void. Beloved, as you speak, the fire of Psalm 27 is not symbolic. It is active in the Spirit, moving through places your eyes cannot see. The fire released through Psalm 27 travels into unseen spaces, into rooms where your name was spoken in darkness, into dreams where fear tried to enter, into moments where confusion tried to settle. Right now, that holy fire is consuming every unclean assignment that was formed against you. Every spiritual arrow released toward your life is dissolving in the presence of the Lord. Say this prayer aloud. Lord, let your fire go before me. Burn every dark altar raised against my name. Break every chain of witchcraft. Expose every hidden work of darkness. Beloved, heaven has heard you. The second repetition has ignited the fire of revelation. And this fire not only destroys, it reveals. Your mind will clear. What once confused you will become simple. People with hidden intentions will expose themselves without realizing why. Where light enters, deception dies. Beloved, the heavens have responded. This second repetition activates the fire of revelation. And revelation is not only illumination, it is exposure. What once operated quietly now stands revealed. Thoughts that felt tangled will untie. Situations that brought confusion will suddenly make sense. The masks of those who hid their intentions will begin to fall. Because when the light of God enters a situation, deception cannot breathe. Clarity becomes your portion. Direction becomes your strength. Peace becomes your atmosphere. This is the power of divine revelation. It restores what confusion attempted to steal. Now we step into the third repetition of Psalm 27, the repetition of divine protection and supernatural peace. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. Beloved, these words are a key that unlocks supernatural rest. As we enter the third repetition, we step into the realm of divine protection and unshakable peace. These are not ordinary words. This is a sanctuary being formed around your spirit. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. Beloved, when you speak this, you invite heaven to surround you like a shield. This verse builds a spiritual dwelling, a place where the presence of the Lord rests, where fear cannot enter, where darkness cannot cross. The Lord is establishing peace over your mind, over your nights, over your spirit. The storm may rage outside, but inside His presence you will not be moved. Beloved, hear this. The enemy cannot touch a life that dwells in the presence of God. When you seek Him, you step into a realm where spiritual attacks lose direction, where confusion loses grip, where anxiety loses its voice. This third repetition becomes a wall of fire around you. This third repetition becomes a wall of fire around you. Not a fire that harms, but a fire that protects, that shields, that declares to every force of darkness, you cannot cross this line. Beloved, when the Lord surrounds you, danger loses its direction. When He covers you, fear loses its foundation. Hear this truth. The presence of God is not weak, distant, or symbolic. It is a force that disrupts darkness, confuses the enemy, and restores the strength of your spirit. As you meditate on Psalm 27, heaven is fortifying your inner walls, rebuilding what life tried to break, and restoring what the enemy attempted to steal. And now, beloved, as we continue, the Lord is preparing to lift you above your battles. You will not remain where fear tried to keep you. You will not stay in the place where the enemy expected you to fall. This next declaration elevates you, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, into a place of victory. This next declaration lifts you above every battle that tried to drain your strength. The Lord Himself raises you to higher ground, a place where the enemy can no longer reach your mind, your spirit, or your peace. What once felt overwhelming will now feel distant, because God is elevating you out of the reach of hidden attacks. Hear this: when God lifts you, no one can pull you down. When He establishes you, no voice of envy, no hidden plot, no spiritual resistance can interfere with your rise. The elevation of the Lord is not symbolic. It is divine positioning. He places you where darkness cannot follow. As you declare the next verse, feel this elevation happening within you. And now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round about me. Beloved, this is not arrogance, it is inheritance. God does not lift you to boast. He lifts you to protect, to establish, to transform your perspective. When you speak this verse, you are stepping into divine elevation. And now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round about me. Beloved, this is the moment where God shifts your position in the Spirit. The things that once intimidated you lose their power when you rise above them. The Lord is lifting you to a level where fear cannot reach, where confusion cannot touch, where the enemy cannot locate you. This elevation is spiritual, but its effects will manifest in your daily life. Peace will become natural. Discernment will sharpen. Attacks that once shook you will now fall powerless at your feet. Beloved, the Lord does not lift you for display. He lifts you for protection. From this higher place, you will see clearly. You will walk confidently. You will understand what God is doing in your life. And every plan formed against you will fail before it even reaches your door. From this higher place, clarity becomes your companion, and fear loses its language. The Lord has lifted you, and what once surrounded you can no longer touch you. This is where discernment grows, and peace becomes your atmosphere. Beloved, every time you praise God from a place of elevation, your voice carries authority. Worship is not merely sound, it is warfare. When you lift your voice, heaven responds. And the darkness that once trailed your footsteps begins to scatter in confusion. As we continue this third repetition of Psalm 27, let this truth settle in your spirit. The presence of the Lord is not just around you, it is upon you. And where His presence rests, victory becomes inevitable. Prepare yourself, beloved, because the Lord is about to shift the atmosphere within you even deeper. Prepare your spirit, beloved, for the Lord is shifting the atmosphere within you. This third repetition is not merely a reading, it is a cleansing. Every word of Psalm 27 is washing the hidden places of your heart, silencing inner storms and restoring what life has exhausted. The presence of God is settling heavily upon you now, not as pressure, but as peace. The kind of peace that strengthens your spine, calms your breath, and quiets every anxious thought. You are not alone in this moment. Heaven is closer than your own heartbeat. Beloved, this is the kind of peace that confuses the enemy, because it is not natural, it is supernatural. You are stepping into a realm where fear cannot survive. Every dark whisper, every internal battle, every spiritual disturbance is losing strength in the presence of divine peace. In this realm of supernatural peace, every internal storm begins to quiet. What once stirred anxiety in your spirit now loses its voice. The presence of God is settling upon you like a cloak of calm, reminding you that His strength is greater than anything formed against you. Beloved, listen closely. Peace is not the absence of battle. It is the presence of God within the battle. And where He stands, fear cannot remain. Tonight you are being clothed with a peace that protects, that stabilizes, that strengthens your spirit from the inside out. As we continue, the Lord prepares you for the next revelation in Psalm 27. This peace is not temporary, it is an anchor. It will hold you steady in moments where others collapse. It will guide your decisions, guard your heart, and shield your mind from the whispers of darkness. You are being fortified for what comes next. You are being fortified for what comes next. The Lord is steadying your spirit, preparing you to receive the deeper revelation hidden within this psalm. What once shook you emotionally will no longer have that power. You are rising in strength, in clarity, and in confidence. Beloved, hear this clearly. The peace you feel is not fragile. It is not momentary. It is the kind of peace that becomes a weapon, the kind that makes the enemy retreat because he cannot operate in an atmosphere governed by the presence of God. As we move forward in Psalm 27, the Lord invites you into a deeper request. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path. This is where God aligns your steps, removes confusion from your path, and directs you with divine clarity. As we continue through Psalm 27, the Lord invites you into a sacred request. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path. This is not just a prayer, it is surrender. It is the moment when God straightens what life made crooked, clears what confusion made foggy, and aligns your steps with purpose. Beloved, when you ask God to teach you His way, you are asking for direction that cannot fail. Heaven begins to guide you with precision. Doors that were wrong for you will close gently. Paths that lead to peace will open. Divine clarity will replace hesitation. And hear this. No trap formed against you can survive on the path God prepares. Every hidden snare, every deceptive voice, every spiritual ambush loses power when the Lord leads your steps. You are walking into a season of clarity, protection, and divine instruction. You are stepping into a season where clarity becomes your compass. The Lord Himself is guiding your steps, removing confusion from your path and silencing every voice that once competed for your attention. When God directs you, no darkness can mislead you, no enemy can deceive you, and no trap can entangle you. Beloved, say this with conviction. Lord, lead me in your path. This prayer dismantles every hidden agenda sent to distract you. It removes the fog that once clouded your decisions. It clears the road ahead of you so you can walk with confidence, not hesitation. And now, as we continue deeper in Psalm 27, the Lord reveals another truth. Some attacks didn't come to destroy you. They came to expose what needed to be removed and to awaken the warrior within you. What was meant for harm is being turned into clarity, strength, and spiritual maturity. There are battles you faced that were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to awaken the warrior inside you. The enemy hoped to break you, but instead, those moments sharpened your discernment and strengthened your spirit. What was meant for harm is now being transformed into wisdom and divine clarity. Beloved, nothing you went through was wasted. Every tear watered your resilience. Every delay refined your patience. Every attack revealed who was for you and who was against you. God is using it all as preparation for the elevation He is bringing into your life. As we continue in Psalm 27, the Lord speaks a powerful truth. Deliver me not over unto the will of my enemies. Beloved, hear this. God will not allow you to fall into the plans of those who plotted in darkness. What they designed in secret will not stand. Their intentions crumble before the presence of the Lord. Deliver me not over unto the will of my enemies. Beloved, this is more than a plea. It is a declaration of covenant. You belong to God, and no plan formed in secret has authority over your destiny. What was whispered against you in darkness is losing power right now. Every false accusation, every spiritual ambush, every hidden plot, the Lord is scattering them. He's not handing you over to the intentions of the wicked. He's shielding you from traps you never saw, from words you never heard, from strategies formed behind closed doors. Beloved, hear this with your spirit. God has interrupted the plans of your enemies. He has shut their mouths, overturned their intentions, and dissolved their agreements. Their weapons lose power at the boundary of His presence. You are protected, you are covered, you are hidden under His wings. You are hidden beneath His wings, untouched, unharmed, unshaken. The plans of darkness fall apart the moment they approach the light of God. What was crafted in secrecy loses its power when heaven steps into the battle. Beloved, there were voices that rose against you, not always aloud, but in envy, in jealousy, in silent resistance. They hoped your steps would falter. They expected you to stumble. But the Lord intervened. He shielded you from intentions that were never spoken to your face. Tonight, as you meditate on Psalm 27, God is breaking the influence of every false witness, every person, every spirit, every accusation that was lifted to distort your name or your destiny. Their words fall to the ground. Their intentions return to the dust. The Lord Himself rises as your defender. The Lord Himself rises as your defender. Every false witness, every misleading voice, every hidden accusation crafted to wound your spirit is being silenced. You do not fight this battle alone. Heaven stands between you and every intention formed against your purpose. Beloved, there are forces that hope to drain your strength, spirits that wanted to intimidate you, and people who carried hidden motives. They smiled in your presence but spoke differently in your absence. Yet God saw it all. He heard what you didn't. He intercepted what was meant to harm you. And now, the influence of every false witness collapses. The confusion they tried to stir is lifting. The words spoken in envy lose their power. The schemes crafted in darkness dissolve in the light of the Lord. You are stepping into clarity, protection, and divine vindication. You are stepping into clarity, protection, and divine vindication. Everything that once distorted your name, your intentions, or your destiny is being exposed and dissolved. The Lord is cutting the cords of confusion and breaking the influence of every person or spirit that tried to mislead you. Beloved, there were moments when you felt resistance without understanding why. Times when the atmosphere around you felt heavy for no reason. This was not your imagination. It was warfare. But tonight, the grip of that resistance is breaking. The Lord is pushing back every force that tried to rise against you. As we continue through Psalm 27, truth is becoming your shield. Light is becoming your defense. And the voice of God is rising above every conflicting sound. You are being restored to spiritual stability, mental clarity, and emotional strength. Truth is now becoming your shield, beloved. The light of God stands before you, exposing every shadow that once tried to hide in your path. Where there was confusion, clarity is rising. Where there was heaviness, the breath of God is entering and lifting you up. Hear me, your spirit is being strengthened. What once destabilized your emotions will no longer shake you. The Lord is rebuilding the inner walls that life tried to wear down. Every unseen pressure that pushed against your mind is losing its grip right now. As you move deeper through Psalm 27, God is stabilizing you from within, restoring your peace, renewing your focus, and anchoring your heart in His presence. This is not temporary relief. This is transformation. You are being fortified for the path ahead. Beloved, this is the seventh flame, the flame that settles, that seals, that finalizes what heaven has already declared over you. Nothing the enemy formed can remain standing. The Lord Himself has spoken over your life, and what He establishes cannot be undone. Hear this in your spirit. Every chain has been broken, every shadow removed, every whisper of darkness silenced. You are stepping out of warfare and into the embrace of divine peace. Heaven has recorded your victory. Now lift your heart in gratitude, because while you were praying, the supernatural realm was shifting. Angels have surrounded your atmosphere, and the fire of God has covered what once felt vulnerable. You are no longer standing in the debris of battle. You are standing in the dawn of a new beginning. Beloved, this is the moment when you transition from battle into worship. The war that once pressed against you has been silenced, and now the presence of God surrounds you like a mantle of calm strength. Heaven is open above you, and the dust of warfare is settling at your feet. Lift your hands where you are, because even if your natural eyes cannot see it, the realm of the Spirit is radiant around you. The angels that fought for you stand guard, and the glory of the Lord rests upon you like sunlight after a long storm. Declare this truth from your spirit. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Let it rise from deep within, because these words now echo with new authority, the authority of one who has overcome. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Speak it again, beloved, not as a plea for help, but as a declaration carved in victory. These words now carry the weight of everything heaven accomplished for you tonight. Now breathe slowly. That breath is more than air. It is restoration entering your being. It is peace filling every place where fear once lived. It is strength returning to your spirit, steady and unshakable. Beloved, this is not the conclusion of your journey. It is the beginning of a new chapter. The Lord has wrapped you in peace, clothed you with spiritual fire, and established victory over every area that once felt broken or bound. You are walking out of this moment renewed and untouchable. You are free. You are protected. You are sealed. Beloved, after every battle in the Spirit comes a sacred stillness, not emptiness, but divine presence resting upon you. Heaven has already moved on your behalf. Every chain that once clung to your life has shattered under the power of God. And now, the Holy Spirit begins rebuilding every area wounded by spiritual warfare. The places where you felt drained, attacked, or broken are now being restored from the inside out. The peace entering your atmosphere is not temporary. It is a sign that the war in the unseen has ended. Remember this: when God destroys witchcraft, He doesn't just break, He rebuilds. For He is not only a warrior, He is the master architect of your destiny. When God breaks witchcraft, He does more than dismantle darkness. He restores what the enemy tried to devour. Because the Lord is not only a fighter in your defense, He is the one who rebuilds your foundation with glory. He tears down every spiritual structure built against you, but then He establishes His presence on the very ground where the enemy once planted fear. The battle was fierce, but now the rebuilding begins. Beloved, the Lord says, "Now I restore what pressure attempted to break. The weight that once rested on your spirit is lifting, and the fog that clouded your path is clearing." This is not a return to who you were. It is the unveiling of who you are becoming under His light. Beloved, the Lord says, "You have endured, you have resisted, you have remained standing. Now you will witness my goodness in the land of the living." This is the moment where you begin to breathe again, where the weight lifts and the light settles within you. Every fractured place is receiving strength again. Every quiet wound is being touched by peace. The Holy Spirit is aligning what was scattered and breathing purpose into what felt empty. For the same fire that revealed the hidden works of darkness now fortifies your foundation. You are being rebuilt with clarity, with calm, and with a strength the enemy cannot shake. Beloved, the peace you feel rising within you is not temporary. It is a sign that heaven is rebuilding the ground beneath your feet. What once felt fragile is becoming firm. What once felt uncertain is gaining clarity through the presence of God settling over your spirit. The Lord is restoring your inner strength, stitching together every place that warfare tried to weaken. You are being lifted into a calm that no darkness can imitate or disturb. For when God rebuilds, He does so with permanence. Every layer of fear is being replaced with confidence. Every echo of confusion is silenced by His steady, unwavering light. Beloved, The Spirit of God is settling over you like a shield of calm. The storm that once roared against your mind is losing its voice. The weight that pressed on your chest is dissolving in the presence of His peace. This is the afterglow of divine intervention, the quiet that follows victory, not the silence of fear, but the stillness of restoration. God is repairing what the battle tried to distort. Every breath you take now carries renewal. Every moment is being filled with clarity. The Lord is establishing a peace around you that no darkness can break. Beloved, as restoration settles into your spirit, the Lord strengthens the very places where fear once lived. What felt heavy is lifting. What felt tangled is being straightened by His presence. The confusion that tried to cloud your thoughts is breaking apart like mist before the morning light. God is anchoring your heart again, giving you a stillness the enemy cannot touch. This is divine renewal, slow, steady, unshakable. The Spirit is rebuilding your confidence, restoring your clarity, and surrounding you with a peace that marks the beginning of a new season. Beloved, as you breathe in this moment, know that God is filling you with a strength that does not fade. What once trembled inside you is becoming steady, grounded, anchored in His light. The fog that clouded your thoughts is dissolving, and the shadows that clung to your spirit are losing their hold. Peace is settling deeper, shaping a new foundation within you. For the Lord is not only restoring your clarity, He is renewing your inner strength, sealing your heart with calm, and establishing a stillness that darkness cannot break. Beloved, this renewal unfolding within you is not momentary. It is the beginning of a deeper transformation. The Spirit is settling peace into every corner of your mind, quieting the echoes of past battles. What once stirred anxiety now meets the stillness of God's presence. The heaviness that followed you through the night is lifting, replaced by a growing sense of confidence and clarity. The Lord is strengthening your inner world, shaping resilience where fear once stood. This is the calm that comes after victory, a peace rooted in His unwavering protection. Beloved, as the atmosphere around you settles, the Spirit of God is anchoring a peace that cannot be shaken. The fear that once hovered at the edges of your mind is fading like a shadow before rising light. This stillness is not emptiness. It is divine protection wrapping itself around you. Heaven is guarding your thoughts, calming your emotions, and restoring your strength one breath at a time. The Lord is clearing the path ahead, removing the remnants of old burdens, and filling your spirit with a quiet confidence that darkness can no longer challenge. Beloved, the peace that now surrounds you is evidence that heaven has shifted the atmosphere in your favor. What once felt heavy is becoming light. What once felt unsettling is now being quieted under God's steady hand. The Spirit is removing the residue of fear, untangling the thoughts that once kept you restless and replacing them with divine clarity and calm. This is sacred stillness, the kind that follows breakthrough, a peace that doesn't come from the world, but from the one who guards your spirit day and night. Beloved, the Spirit of God is settling a deeper peace within you, a peace that speaks louder than every battle you've survived. What once stirred uncertainty now meets the strength of His presence resting upon your soul. The tension that tried to linger is melting away. Every echo of fear is being pushed out by a calm that only heaven can create. You are being wrapped in divine reassurance. For the Lord is guarding your heart, steadying your thoughts, and sealing this moment with a quiet strength. This is not just recovery, this is divine establishment. Beloved, as this stillness deepens, the Lord is rebuilding the inner places where exhaustion once lived. Strength is returning to your spirit like a quiet river, steady and unstoppable. The whispers of doubt are fading, replaced by a certainty that God Himself is holding your steps. What once felt fragile is becoming firm beneath His covering. This is divine reinforcement, the moment when heaven strengthens what the battle tried to weaken. You are being lifted, secured, and prepared for what comes next. Beloved, as the presence of God settles more deeply around you, the weight you carried is dissolving. The Lord is reinforcing your spirit with a peace that does not sway, even when the world around you shifts. What once felt like pressure on your mind is lifting. Calm is taking its place, steady, firm, unbreakable. Heaven is restoring the balance the battle tried to steal. This is the quiet victory of the Spirit, sealing your heart with strength and surrounding you with a divine stillness that darkness cannot imitate. Beloved, feel how the atmosphere around you has shifted. The tension that once clung to your spirit is loosening, falling away piece by piece under the weight of God's peace. The Lord is calming the storms that once raged within you. Every restless thought is being quieted, every lingering fear being pushed back by His steady light. This is restoration in motion. A peace that strengthens, a calm that heals, a stillness that marks the beginning of a renewed season in your life. Beloved, as you stand in this moment of divine calm, the Spirit continues to clear every trace of heaviness from your atmosphere. What once felt overwhelming is losing its power in the presence of God's peace. The gentle weight of His glory is settling around you, quieting the thoughts that once rushed through your mind and restoring balance to your inner world. This is the deeper work of the Lord, the quiet rebuilding of your spirit, where strength returns, clarity awakens, and peace becomes your new foundation. Beloved, the peace resting upon you now is not fragile. It is anchored in the presence of God. Every lingering tremor inside your spirit is calming as His light settles more deeply around you. The worries that once pulled at your thoughts are fading. The confusion that once clouded your heart is dissolving beneath the steady warmth of His reassurance. This is divine grounding, the moment when heaven stabilizes what life tried to shake and your soul begins to breathe freely again under His covering. Beloved, as this holy calm continues to unfold around you, the Lord is strengthening the inner places that once felt fragile. His peace is settling like a foundation stone, steady and unmovable. The noise that once filled your thoughts is quieting. The emotional weight that pressed on your chest is lifting, replaced by a gentle clarity that only His presence can bring. This is divine restoration. The slow, steady work of heaven reinforcing your spirit, building courage in your heart, and anchoring your soul in unshakable peace. Beloved, the Spirit of God is sealing every part of your inner world with calm. What once felt unsettled is finding stability. What once felt shaky is being strengthened from within. The Lord is smoothing the rough edges the battle left behind, replacing tension with tranquility, and filling your heart with a clarity that brings quiet confidence. This is the gentle finishing work of heaven, the peace that settles after victory, the calm that prepares you for what God is building next in your life. Beloved, feel how the presence of God wraps itself around your spirit like a warm mantle. The anxieties that once tugged at your heart are loosening, falling away as His peace settles deeper within you. The Lord is quieting every internal storm, calming every hidden tension, and restoring the inner balance that the battle tried to steal from you. This is sacred restoration, the moment when heaven smooths the places wounded by warfare and fills your soul with strength that rises from divine stillness. Beloved, as the quiet of God settles even deeper, the last traces of heaviness are melting away. What once lingered in the corners of your heart is being cleared by His gentle, steady light. Peace is taking root, not the kind that fades with time, but the kind that grows stronger the longer you rest in His presence. Every breath is becoming easier, every thought more aligned. This is the closing touch of divine restoration, where God perfects what He has healed and seals your spirit with a calm that darkness cannot disturb. Beloved, the Spirit of God is completing a deep work within you. The places that once felt vulnerable are now being reinforced by His presence, becoming stronger than they ever were before. The emotional weight you carried is dissolving. The silent battles you fought alone are being replaced with a steady assurance that heaven has taken over your fight. This is divine sealing, the moment when God secures every breakthrough, fortifies every healing, and establishes a peace that stands firm against every shadow. Beloved, the peace resting upon you now is the evidence that heaven has settled the battle on your behalf. What once felt chaotic within you is being aligned under God's steady hand. The Lord is calming every lingering echo of fear, softening the weight that tried to return, and reinforcing your spirit with clarity that cannot be shaken. This is the quiet victory of the redeemed, the moment when God seals your heart, strengthens your mind, and surrounds your life with unbreakable light. The whispers of doubt lose their strength. The shadows that tried to return are pushed back by the steady glow of His protection surrounding you on every side. This is heavenly preservation, God sealing your breakthrough, stabilizing your spirit, and placing His peace as a permanent guard over your heart and mind. Beloved, feel how the weight that once rested on your spirit has fully lifted. The Lord is bringing a completeness to your peace, not temporary, not fragile, but rooted in His unchanging presence. Every lingering tension is dissolving. Every hidden worry is being washed away by the calm He is pouring into your soul, steady and unwavering. This is divine completion, heaven sealing what it has restored, surrounding you with a peace that endures and anchoring your heart in the safety of His light. Beloved, as the presence of God settles like a covering around your soul, every disturbance that once tried to rise against your peace is being silenced. The Lord is securing your inner world with divine firmness. The fears that once whispered in the background are fading. The weight that once pressed on your heart is lifting as God strengthens you from the inside out. This is divine stabilization, the moment when heaven anchors your breakthrough, fortifies your peace, and secures your spirit under the gentle shield of His light. Beloved, the Spirit of God is finishing a deep and sacred work within you. The quiet that surrounds you now is not emptiness. It is the presence of heaven settling every unsettled place in your soul. The inner battles that drained your strength are losing their power. God is restoring clarity to your thoughts, steadying your emotions, and lifting the weight that tried to linger. This is divine reinforcement, heaven surrounding your heart, securing your mind, and sealing your spirit with a calm that darkness cannot enter or disturb. Beloved, the Lord is strengthening the foundation of your spirit. What once felt uncertain is being made firm beneath His guiding hand. Peace is settling into every place where pressure once lived. The Lord is soothing the quiet places within you, calming what felt shaken and restoring what felt thin. Peace is rising, steady and unwavering. This is divine renewal, the gentle finishing touch of heaven, strengthening your foundation, restoring your inner balance, and sealing your spirit with unshakable calm. Beloved, as the presence of God continues to settle around you, the last remnants of heaviness are being lifted from your spirit. What once weighed you down is losing every claim it tried to make on your heart. Beloved, the peace that now surrounds you is the evidence of God's hand completing what He began. The turbulence that once echoed inside your heart is being replaced with steady, sacred calm. The Lord is quieting every lingering thought that tried to rise against your clarity. He is smoothing the inner voices that once pulled at your spirit, restoring harmony within you. This is holy completion, heaven sealing your restoration, fortifying your strength, and anchoring your soul in a peace that nothing in the shadows can disturb. Beloved, as the Spirit of God continues to move through the quiet places of your soul, every burden that tried to cling to you is being released. What once felt heavy is lifting with every breath you take. The Lord is restoring harmony to your inner world, aligning your thoughts with peace and steadying your heart with His comforting presence. This is divine settling, the moment when heaven secures your breakthrough, stabilizes your emotions, and fills your spirit with a calm that grows stronger and deeper with time. Beloved, the peace surrounding you now is becoming a shield, quiet, strong, and unshakable. What once tried to rise inside your heart is being silenced by the presence of the Lord resting upon you. He's easing the last traces of tension, smoothing every unsettled thought, and restoring a rhythm of calm to your spirit. This is divine preservation. Heaven guarding your healing, steadying your mind, and wrapping your soul in a stillness that darkness cannot enter or weaken. Beloved, as the Lord continues to surround you with his presence, the echoes of old battles are fading. The heaviness that once pressed on your spirit is dissolving under the weight of his peace. The Spirit is clearing the quiet corners of your heart, lifting what tried to linger, and restoring your inner strength with gentle precision. This is divine settling, God securing your calm, reinforcing your foundation, and sealing you in a peace that remains steady, regardless of what comes. Beloved, feel how the Spirit of God is completing this work within you. Every remnant of fear, every quiet worry, every subtle weight is being lifted as his peace settles deeper into your being. The Lord is smoothing the final tensions of your spirit, aligning your thoughts with clarity and filling your heart with a calm that cannot be shaken by circumstance. This is holy restoration, heaven securing your breakthrough, strengthening your inner world, and surrounding you with a peace that endures far beyond this moment. Beloved, the Lord is placing a final layer of peace over your spirit like a protective veil. What once tried to disturb your inner balance is losing all authority in the presence of his calm. The gentle weight of his glory is settling deeper, quieting every lingering echo of anxiety and filling your heart with steady assurance. This is divine completion, the moment when heaven locks in your restoration, strengthens your foundation, and seals your spirit with unbreakable tranquility. Beloved, feel how the atmosphere around you has become still. This stillness is not empty. It is the signature of God establishing peace where unrest once lived. The Lord is quieting the final ripples of tension in your spirit, replacing every lingering unease with clarity that settles like gentle light upon your heart. This is divine grounding. Heaven stabilizing your emotions, strengthening your inner balance, and surrounding you with a calm that nothing in the shadows can disrupt. Beloved, the presence of God is settling over you like a gentle, unshakable shield. The unrest that once tried to rise within your mind is being stilled by his quiet, sovereign peace. The Lord is softening the last traces of internal strain, calming your breath, and restoring a sense of balance that brings both comfort and clarity. This is holy reinforcement, heaven sealing your breakthrough, strengthening your inner foundation, and covering your spirit in a peace that endures far beyond this moment. Beloved, the Spirit of God is completing the work he began in you. The final pieces of tension, the last echoes of worry are dissolving as his peace settles like a soft mantle over your soul. The Lord is steadying your heart, aligning your thoughts, and restoring the quiet strength that the battle once tried to drain from you. This is divine sealing, heaven securing your restoration, reinforcing your inner peace, and surrounding your life with calm that no darkness can disturb or break. Beloved, as the Lord continues to wrap his presence around you, the last traces of inner turbulence are fading. What once stirred beneath the surface is becoming still under his calming hand. The Spirit is strengthening what felt weakened, restoring balance to your thoughts, and pouring quiet confidence into your heart. This is divine completion, heaven anchoring your peace, reinforcing your spirit, and sealing you in a calm that remains untouched by the shadows of the past. Beloved, the Lord is bringing a gentle final calm over your spirit. Every lingering ripple of unrest is quieting, settling beneath the weight of his steady and comforting presence. The thoughts that once wavered are becoming clear. The emotions that once trembled are being strengthened as his peace settles deeper within you. This is sacred stillness, heaven completing its work, grounding your heart and wrapping your spirit in a calm that endures far beyond this moment. Beloved, as this holy quiet settles over you, The Spirit of God is locking in the peace He has placed within your soul. What once felt unsettled is now resting under His protective presence. The Lord is smoothing the last gentle waves inside your heart, restoring full clarity to your mind and anchoring your emotions in His steady light. This is divine finalization, heaven completing its work, strengthening your foundation and wrapping your life in a calm that will carry you forward with unshakable strength. Beloved, the peace resting upon you now is not momentary. It is the mark of God's hand, completing a deep work within your spirit. Every trace of inner weight is being lifted in His presence. The Lord is reinforcing your clarity, steadying your heartbeat, and renewing the strength that quietly carried you through every unseen battle. This is divine establishment, heaven securing your mind, anchoring your heart, and placing a protective calm over your life that no darkness can disturb or diminish. Beloved, the Spirit of God is sealing every part of your inner restoration. The heaviness that once tried to linger in the background is being completely removed from your atmosphere. The Lord is calming the silent pressures you carried, replacing them with steady assurance and a peace that breathes strength back into your soul. This is holy preservation, heaven fortifying your breakthrough, strengthening your spirit, and surrounding your life with a calm that remains untouched by all forms of darkness. Beloved, the Lord is steadying every part of your inner world. The final echoes of worry, the faint shadows of past battles, are losing their grip as His peace settles with full authority. The Spirit is restoring your rhythm, thought by thought, breath by breath, aligning your heart with calm and filling your mind with clear, renewed strength. This is divine final sealing, heaven completing what it started, grounding your soul and surrounding you with a peace that stands unbroken and unmovable. Beloved, as the quiet presence of God deepens around you, every remaining trace of tension is being softened by His gentle, steady peace. The Lord is restoring full balance to your inner world, calming the thoughts that once wavered and strengthening the foundations of your spirit with divine clarity. This is sacred completion, heaven securing your restoration, anchoring your emotions, and wrapping your soul in a calm that endures beyond every storm. Beloved, the Lord is releasing a final wave of peace over your spirit. What once felt unsettled is now resting fully in the calm of His presence. The Spirit is steadying your thoughts, lifting the last quiet weight and filling your heart with a clarity that rises gently, like light breaking through the horizon. This is divine stillness, heaven completing the work within you, securing your breakthrough and surrounding your life with a peace that endures without wavering. Beloved, the presence of God is settling over you like a soft mantle of rest. The pressures that once pushed against your spirit are losing every hold as His peace takes full dominion. The Lord is strengthening your inner quiet, restoring your emotional balance, and rebuilding the calm that carries you with confidence through every season. This is holy fulfillment, the moment when heaven confirms your restoration, secures your atmosphere, and surrounds your soul with unwavering, enduring peace. Beloved, the Lord is calming the final whispers of unrest within you. What once tried to rise again is being silenced under the steady weight of His peace. The Spirit is restoring a deeper clarity, aligning your heart with stillness and filling your mind with strength that flows gently yet powerfully. This is divine closure, heaven completing its work, grounding your spirit and surrounding your life with a calm that stands firm against every shadow. Beloved, as the presence of God settles even deeper around you, the last traces of inner pressure are being released. What once felt tight within your spirit is loosening under His gentle touch. The Lord is restoring full balance to your heart, steadying every emotion and clearing the quiet thoughts that once pulled at your peace. This is divine stabilization, heaven securing your restoration, reinforcing your strength and sealing you in a calm that is steady, lasting, and unbreakable. Beloved, The peace God has established within you is becoming your new foundation. Every silent weight, every faint echo of concern is being lifted as His presence settles more deeply into your spirit. The Lord is strengthening your clarity, calming your inner rhythm, and renewing the quiet courage that carries you through every season of life. This is sacred reinforcement. Heaven securing your breakthrough, anchoring your emotions, and wrapping your soul in a calm that endures far beyond this moment. Beloved, the Spirit of God is sealing a deeper calm within you. The unease that once tried to linger in the background is dissolving under the steady glow of His presence. The Lord is restoring full stillness to your inner world, steadying your thoughts, easing your breath, and renewing the quiet strength that rises from divine peace. This is holy completion, heaven reinforcing your breakthrough, anchoring your heart in clarity, and surrounding your life with a calm that cannot be shaken or disturbed. Beloved, the Lord is releasing a steady wave of peace into the deepest places of your spirit. Every quiet tension that once tried to hide within you is being dissolved by His gentle, sovereign calm. The Holy Spirit is restoring full harmony to your inner world, aligning your thoughts with clarity and settling your heart under the weight of His unwavering presence. This is divine grounding, heaven securing your restoration, strengthening your foundation, and wrapping your life in a calm that darkness cannot disturb or penetrate. Beloved, as the presence of God settles over you like a quiet shield, the last faint whispers of unrest are being silenced. What once lingered in the corners of your heart is losing all strength beneath His calm. The Spirit is steadying your breath, bringing clarity to your thoughts, and restoring a stillness that carries the weight of divine protection. This is sacred stabilization, heaven anchoring your peace, strengthening your inner world, and sealing your spirit in a calm that remains unbroken and unmoved. Beloved, the Lord is completing the final layer of calm within your spirit. What once tried to rise again is being fully quieted under the gentle authority of His presence. The Holy Spirit is restoring strength to the places that felt thin, clearing the last traces of inner noise, and renewing a clarity that brings steady confidence to your soul. This is divine sealing, heaven finalizing your restoration, anchoring your emotions, and wrapping your life in a peace that stands strong, lasting, and untouched by darkness. Beloved, as the presence of God settles gently upon you, the final layers of inner weight are being lifted. What once pressed softly against your heart is dissolving in the warmth of His peace. The Spirit is restoring full harmony within you, calming every subtle tension, aligning your thoughts with clarity, and strengthening the quiet resolve that now rises from your spirit. This is sacred completion, heaven securing your restoration, sealing your atmosphere, and wrapping your soul in a calm that remains unshaken and enduring. Beloved, the Lord is calming even the smallest ripples within your spirit. The quiet worries that once tried to echo in the background are being silenced by His steady, comforting presence. The Holy Spirit is strengthening your inner calm, restoring full clarity, and grounding your emotions in a peace that flows gently yet carries unshakable power. This is divine fortification, heaven locking in your restoration, surrounding your heart with stability, and anchoring your life in a calm that darkness cannot imitate or disturb. Beloved, as the presence of God settles firmly over your life, every lingering shadow within you is losing its hold. The gentle strength of His peace is spreading through your spirit, covering every vulnerable place. The Lord is restoring full balance to your inner world, easing your breath, clearing your thoughts, and renewing the quiet stability that carries you forward with confidence. This is holy establishment, heaven reinforcing your peace, securing your restoration, and wrapping your soul in a calm that stands steady, certain, and untouched by darkness. Beloved, the Spirit of God is completing the final touches of peace within you. Every quiet tension, every subtle whisper of unrest is being fully dissolved under His calming presence. The Lord is steadying your heart with gentle strength, restoring full clarity to your thoughts, and anchoring your emotions in a peace that flows deep and unwavering. This is divine sealing, heaven finalizing your restoration, fortifying your inner world, and wrapping your soul in a calm that endures beyond every season and every shadow. Beloved, the peace settling over you now is not temporary. It is a divine anchor. Heaven is sealing every breakthrough, securing every victory, and establishing a calm that cannot be shaken. The Lord is surrounding your spirit with a mantle of unbreakable rest, silencing every leftover echo of fear, stress, or confusion that once tried to cling to you. This is the atmosphere of completion, where God finishes what He started and crowns your soul with a peace that no darkness can steal. Beloved, the Spirit of the Lord is settling over you like a quiet river, washing away every residue of spiritual battle, every hidden weight, every unseen pressure. You are entering a realm of stillness where heaven speaks softly, where clarity flows effortlessly, and where your heart begins to rest in the certainty of God's protection. Beloved, every part of your inner world is being quieted by the presence of the Lord, thoughts settling, emotions stabilizing, and your spirit aligning with divine peace. This is the holy calm that follows deliverance, the gentle atmosphere where God restores, strengthens, and prepares you for what comes next. Beloved, in this quiet atmosphere, the Spirit of the Lord is gently rewiring your thoughts, lifting every remaining weight, and restoring the strength that warfare tried to drain. This moment marks the transition from battle to blessing, from pressure to purpose, from survival to divine stability. Beloved, the Spirit of God is now settling over your life like a warm mantle, lifting the last fragments of fear and filling every corner of your soul with holy reassurance. This is the inward shift, where your spirit becomes anchored, your heart becomes steady, and your entire being aligns with the peace only God can give. This is the inward shift, where your spirit becomes anchored, your heart grows steady, and the weight of every former battle loses its grip on you completely. Beloved, the Lord is settling you into a peace that doesn't fluctuate, a rest that cannot be shaken, and a strength that rises quietly within your soul. This is the gentle but powerful confirmation that God has not only delivered you, He has established you. This is the confirmation that God has not only delivered you, He has established you, rooted you, and anchored you in a strength that darkness can no longer shake. Beloved, the peace resting on you now is not temporary. It is a divine settlement, a heavenly signature declaring that the battle has ended in your favor. This marks the moment where your spirit stands firm, your heart stands lifted, and the presence of God surrounds you like unbreakable armor. This marks the moment where your spirit rises unshaken, your faith stands anchored, and the nearness of God becomes a shield no darkness can penetrate. Beloved, the strength wrapping around you now is not fleeting emotion. It is divine stability, a supernatural grounding that reaches deeper than every fear you once carried. Heaven surrounds you, peace settles upon you, and the light of God forms a covering that no shadow, no whisper, and no storm can break. Heaven surrounds you, peace settles upon you, and the light of God forms a covering that no shadow, no whisper, and no storm can break. Beloved, this is the stillness that follows victory, the holy quiet where God Himself restores what battle tried to drain from you. In this sacred calm, your spirit is strengthened, your mind is renewed, and your heart is wrapped in a protection that nothing in the unseen realm can overturn. Beloved, this is where the weight lifts completely, where the last residue of fear evaporates, and the fullness of God's peace settles like a mantle upon your shoulders. What once felt heavy becomes light. What once felt uncertain becomes clear, and what once felt fragile now stands unbreakable in the presence of His glory. Beloved, this is the settling of divine peace, the quiet assurance that God has stepped fully into every place where fear once tried to live. The atmosphere around you shifts, the weight on your chest releases, and a stillness from heaven covers you like a warm, radiant shield. This is the moment when heaven's calm settles deeper, reaching places within you that battles, noise, and fear once tried to occupy. Beloved, the presence of God now fills every silent corner, bringing clarity where confusion stood and strength where weariness tried to rest. You are being wrapped in a peace that does not fade, a covering that guards your thoughts, steadies your heart, and anchors your spirit in unshakable light. Beloved, this is the deep rest that follows victory, the kind of stillness that proves heaven has already moved on your behalf. Every burden loosens its grip, every lingering worry dissolves, and the presence of God settles over you like a shield woven with calm and strength. Beloved, this is the quiet victory, the kind you don't need to see with your eyes because your spirit already feels the shift. Heaven has stepped into your atmosphere, lifting what was heavy and laying peace over every part of your being. Beloved, the stillness you feel is not emptiness, it is divine reassurance settling into the places where fear once whispered. The Spirit surrounds you gently, rebuilding your calm, strengthening your courage, and grounding your heart in a peace that cannot be shaken. Beloved, this is the reassurance that follows every divine breakthrough, the steady reminder that God has already stepped ahead of you. What tried to trouble your mind now loses its influence, and a quiet certainty rises within you, stronger than every storm you've ever faced. Beloved, the peace of God is settling not only around you but within you, filling the spaces where fear once tried to live. This inner stillness becomes your anchor, a calm that strengthens your voice, steadies your steps, and protects your heart from every shadow. Beloved, this is where your spirit stands taller, not because the battle was easy, but because God has settled his peace inside you. The weight lifts, the noise quiets, and a gentle confidence rises, reminding you that heaven has already gone before you. Beloved, this is the quiet assurance that settles after every spiritual victory, the kind of peace that cannot be shaken by shadows or whispers. You are standing in a calm shaped by God himself, a covering that steadies your heart and strengthens your steps for everything ahead. Beloved, this peace is not temporary. It is the evidence that the battle has shifted and heaven has secured the ground beneath your feet. What once pressed against your spirit now loses all strength, and the presence of God settles over you like a shield that nothing in the unseen realm can pierce. Beloved, this is where clarity returns, where your mind becomes calm again and your heart rests without fear or heaviness. The peace surrounding you now is steady, intentional, and enduring, confirming that God has already secured your path ahead. Beloved, this is the moment when your spirit begins to breathe freely again, when the tightness lifts and your heart finds room to rest. The calm settling within you is not ordinary. It is heaven's assurance that nothing formed against you can stand. Beloved, this is where the last echoes of fear fade, replaced by a deep knowing that God has already stepped into every place you once worried about. A quiet strength rises within you, steady, grounded, unshakable, reminding you that you are wrapped in a peace that no shadow can disturb. Beloved, this is the settling of divine assurance, where your heart stops reaching for answers because it knows heaven has already responded. The atmosphere around you grows lighter, and a gentle clarity begins to rest upon your thoughts, like a soft glow in the night. Beloved, this is the peace that follows breakthrough, the quiet reminder that God has settled what once troubled your heart. Every worry begins to lose its voice, and a steady calm rises within you, confirming that heaven has already gone ahead of you. Beloved, this is where your spirit settles fully, where the noise that once pressed against your mind fades into silence. A gentle assurance now fills your inner world, reminding you that nothing ahead of you can overpower the peace God has established within you. Beloved, this is the moment where your spirit becomes steady again, where the uncertainty that once tried to cling to your thoughts quietly fades away. A calm confidence begins to rise within you, anchoring your heart in the truth that God remains your light, your guide, and your unshakable foundation. Beloved, This is where peace deepens, where your spirit finally recognizes that you are no longer standing in the shadows of what once tried to intimidate you. The presence of God wraps around you like a warm mantle, steadying your thoughts and lifting your heart into a place of quiet strength. Beloved, this is the gentle moment where the last tension within you begins to melt away, replaced by a clarity that only heaven can give. What once felt heavy now feels distant, and the peace settling inside you becomes a shield that no fear, shadow, or whisper can break. Beloved, this is where your heart regains its balance, where the weight that once pressed against your spirit finally loses all power. A gentle stillness rises within you, reminding you that God has covered every step ahead and calmed every storm behind. Beloved, this is the moment when your spirit realizes it is no longer fighting, no longer defending, simply resting under divine protection. Peace settles over you like a steady light, comforting your heart and assuring your mind that you are safe within God's unfailing presence. Beloved, this is where the inner noise finally quiets, where every lingering thought that once tried to trouble you gently loses its grip. A calm certainty rises in your spirit, reminding you that nothing ahead can overpower the strength God has already placed within you. Beloved, this is the deep exhale your soul has waited for, the moment when the tension fades and your heart finally rests in divine assurance. The peace surrounding you becomes a quiet fortress, shielding your thoughts and settling your spirit in a way only God's presence can accomplish. Beloved, this is the stillness that comes after breakthrough, the gentle confirmation that the battle has truly lifted from your shoulders. A soft calm begins to rest over your mind, reminding you that you are no longer standing in struggle, but in victory, shaped by God's hand. Beloved, this is the peace that remains after the battle, the quiet assurance that heaven has already settled what once troubled your heart. The atmosphere around you grows still, and a gentle confidence rises within, anchoring your spirit in the certainty that God is guiding every step ahead. Beloved, this is the moment when clarity returns, when your heart begins to recognize that God has already prepared the path that once felt uncertain. A steady peace settles over you, reminding your spirit that you are held, guarded and guided by a presence that never fails. Beloved, this is where the last traces of fear dissolve, replaced by the quiet assurance that God has already surrounded your steps with His light. A calm strength rises within you, steady and unwavering, anchoring your heart in the certainty that you are protected by divine peace. Beloved, this is the gentle moment when your spirit begins to recognize that the weight is gone, the pressure lifted, and the atmosphere fully cleared. A quiet assurance now fills your inner world, reminding you that nothing formed against you can stand under the covering God has placed upon your life. Beloved, this is where your heart finally rests, where the tension that once clung to your thoughts fades into a silence shaped by divine protection. The peace settling over you becomes a gentle shield, steadying your mind and grounding your spirit in the certainty that heaven is watching over every step you take. Beloved, this is the soft calm that follows divine intervention, the moment when every lingering worry loses its strength in the presence of God's faithfulness. Your spirit begins to breathe freely again, resting in the assurance that you are held, guided, and surrounded by a love that cannot fail. Beloved, this is where every inner weight finally loosens, where the concerns that once pressed against your heart fall silent under the peace God has established. A gentle confidence rises within you, steady and unshakable, reminding you that your path is protected and your steps are guarded by divine presence. Beloved, this is the moment when your heart recognizes that the storm has passed, and the peace now resting over you is a sign of heaven's intervention. The calm surrounding you becomes a quiet confirmation that God has already settled what once troubled your thoughts and weighed on your spirit. Beloved, this is where your inner world becomes clear again, where the fog that once clouded your mind gently lifts under the light of God's peace. A steady stillness fills you, reminding your heart that you are moving forward covered, strengthened, and guided by a presence that never leaves you. Beloved, this is the gentle moment when your spirit fully understands that the weight has lifted and every hidden burden has been quietly dissolved. Peace now rests over you like a soft mantle, calming your thoughts and anchoring your steps in the certainty that God is leading you with unwavering care. Beloved, this is where your heart recognizes that you are no longer carrying the weight alone. Heaven has lifted what once felt too heavy to endure. A quiet assurance rises within you, reminding your spirit that every step ahead has already been softened, guided, and prepared by God's gentle hand. Beloved, this is the moment when your mind begins to rest, no longer pulled by uncertainty, no longer stirred by the echoes of past battles. A calm strength surrounds you now, steady and peaceful, confirming that God's presence is leading you forward with clarity and unwavering protection. Beloved, this is where your spirit feels the shift, where the heaviness that once followed you quietly releases its hold. A gentle peace rises within you, reminding your heart that every shadow has lifted and every step ahead is guided by a light that never fades. Beloved, this is the soft settling of divine reassurance, the moment when your spirit truly understands that the battle has passed and the atmosphere has changed. A quiet stillness now rests over you, steady and comforting, confirming that God has cleared your path and surrounded your journey with his enduring peace. Beloved, this is where your heart feels light again, where the pressure that once clung to your spirit dissolves under the warmth of God's presence. A calm assurance fills your inner world, reminding you that every step ahead is protected, every moment guided, and every burden gently lifted by his hand. Beloved, this is the moment where your spirit settles into a peace that does not waver, a peace that stands firm even when the world around you shifts. A quiet confidence rises within you now, steady and certain, confirming that God has already gone before you and secured the path you are walking. Beloved, this is where the last echoes of worry melt away, replaced by the gentle awareness that heaven is watching over every detail of your journey. Peace settles around you like a soft blanket, reminding your heart that you are carried, strengthened, and guided by a presence that never leaves your side. A peace shaped by God settles fully over you now, steady and unwavering, grounding your heart in a calm no shadow can disturb. Beloved, this is the gentle point where your spirit recognizes that the weight has lifted and the path ahead is no longer clouded by fear or uncertainty. A quiet strength rises within you, confirming that heaven has secured your steps and surrounded your journey with clarity and divine reassurance. Beloved, this is where the last remnants of pressure quietly lift from your spirit, leaving room for a peace that settles deeper than anything you have known before. The weight that once lingered around your thoughts now dissolves under the warmth of God's presence, clearing your mind with gentle certainty. A renewed calm rises within you, reminding your heart that every step you take is guarded, guided, and strengthened by the one who never leaves your side. Beloved, this is the moment when your spirit feels the gentle shift, where the weight you once carried fades into a peace only heaven can establish. A deep stillness settles over you now, wrapping your thoughts and emotions in a quiet assurance that God has already gone ahead of you, preparing every detail of your path. Peace settles upon you once more, a calm that reaches deeper than the noise, grounding your spirit in the quiet certainty of God's nearness. Beloved, this is the moment when your heart recognizes that nothing has been forgotten, nothing overlooked. Heaven is aligning everything on your behalf. A steady strength rises within you now, reminding your soul that you walk forward wrapped in divine guidance, protected by a presence that never fades. Beloved, this is the moment when the weight fully lifts and your spirit begins to recognize that peace has settled deeper than ever before. The calm surrounding you now is not fragile. It is strong, steady, and alive, shaped by the presence of God moving gently through every part of your being. A quiet certainty rises within you, reminding your heart that you are held, protected, and guided by a love that has never failed you. And now, beloved, a deeper peace begins to rest upon you, quiet, steady, and unwavering, settling every place within you that once felt shaken. This is the moment where the weight fully lifts, where your heart feels lighter and the atmosphere around you becomes calm once again. A gentle reassurance rises within, reminding you that the one who walks beside you has already prepared your path with wisdom and protection. A quiet stability begins to settle over your spirit, grounding your thoughts and reminding you that nothing ahead of you is beyond God's reach. Beloved, this is where the noise finally fades, where the weight of uncertainty loses its voice under the calm of divine reassurance. Peace surrounds you gently now, steady and unwavering, affirming that every step you take is supported by a strength greater than anything you face. This is the calm that settles after every unseen battle, the peace that enters only when God Himself has cleared what once stood against you. Beloved, this gentle stillness is not temporary. It is a sign that heaven has stepped into your atmosphere and lifted what your heart could no longer carry. A quiet certainty rises within you now, reminding your spirit that you are walking forward, held, strengthened, and surrounded by divine protection. A deeper calm settles over you now, gently quieting every concern that once tried to rise within your heart. Beloved, this is the moment when your spirit recognizes the shift, when you feel the weight lifting and the atmosphere clearing around you. A soft, confident peace begins to take root inside you, reminding you that every step ahead is already aligned with God's guidance and care. This is the moment where your heart begins to align fully with the peace God is placing before you, steady, clear, and unshakable. Beloved, every lingering doubt gently loosens its grip, fading under the certainty that heaven has already gone ahead of you. A deep, grounding calm now settles within, reminding you that your steps are protected, your path is guided, and your spirit is held by a love that never wavers. Beloved, this is the moment when your spirit finally recognizes that the weight has fully lifted, and what once pressed against your heart no longer holds any power over you. A gentle, steady peace begins to flow through you, reminding your soul that every step you take is surrounded by divine clarity, calm, and unwavering protection. Beloved, this is the moment where your heart begins to recognize that nothing ahead can unsettle you, for the presence of God has already gone before you. A quiet strength settles around your spirit, soft yet unshakable, assuring you that every fear has been silenced and every path illuminated by His guiding light. A calm and confident stillness settles over you now, gently assuring your heart that nothing ahead can shake what God has already secured within you. Beloved, this is the quiet strengthening of your spirit, the moment when fear loses its voice and peace becomes the language your soul understands. A steady light rises inside you, reminding you that every step forward is covered, protected, and aligned with heaven's unfailing guidance. Beloved, this is the moment when your spirit feels the shift, where every lingering weight loosens and the atmosphere around you becomes lighter and clearer. A gentle calm settles deeper within, assuring your heart that you are moving in a direction shaped by wisdom, guarded by peace, and strengthened by God's constant nearness. A deeper stillness now fills your spirit, reminding you that nothing ahead can overshadow the peace God has established within you. Beloved, this is the quiet confirmation that heaven is guiding your path, gently, faithfully, and with a wisdom far greater than your understanding. A calm strength rises through you, steady and reassuring, showing your heart that every moment forward is protected by divine presence. A deep and steady peace settles over you now, reminding your heart that every step ahead is already held in the hands of the one who guides you with perfect wisdom and unwavering love. Beloved, this is the closing calm, the stillness that confirms heaven has cleared your path, lifted your burdens, and surrounded your journey with clarity, protection, and gentle strength. Rest in this truth. You are covered, you are guarded, and you are carried forward by a presence that never leaves, never shifts, and never fails.